Welcome to Reading Corner. Let's end our week with a big celebration of women and girls who are shaking things up. The book we're going to be reading today has a lot of inspirational women and girls to end our celebration of Women's History Month. We're going to read about some of them. I've marked some pages, and I am really excited to share these incredible women with you who shine their light, their gifts, their talents on all of us. And no matter if you're a girl or a boy, you can be inspired by them too. Shaking things up. 14 young women who changed the world. And like I said, we're not going to read all of them. I'm going to just pick out some that I think you're really going to enjoy. The first one is Molly Williams. Look at Molly here. And these are written in poem form. This is called Taking the Heat. Molly Williams, the first known female firefighter in the United States. Years passed in New York City streets, a blizzard whipped the air. Despite the heavy falling snow, a fire scorched the square. The steeples clanged the town alarm, boy runners spread the news, but firemen were sick abed with influenza blues. A local servant knew the drill, she'd seen what must be done. She hauled the pumper truck by hand, adept as anyone. In raging flames and choking smoke, brave Molly took the heat. With hose and axe, she met the blaze to save the house and street. The fire laddies gave her praise, respect where it was due, dubbed her Volunteer 11, a member of the crew. She glowed with pride, a pioneer. She blazed a path, it's true. Yet women weren't hired here till 1982. So this was so long ago. In 1747 she was born and she died in 1821. But women couldn't be firefighters until about 40 years ago. Wow, incredible. Let's read about another woman. This is Pura Belpré, children's author and first Latina librarian at the New York Public Library. Author, amiga, bilingual book buyer, community champion for children, defender of the downtrodden, empowering educator, folklorist, fairy tale teller, grower of gifts, Harlem history maker, inner city innovator, joyful Johnny Appleseed, known for Perez y Martina, legendary Latina librarian, multicultural mosaic maker, New York narrator for the Niños, outgoing organizer, Puerto Rican puppeteer, querida, role model, Spanish story seed sower, trilingual translator, uplifter of the underprivileged, voice of the voiceless, weaver of wonder, expert in Espanol, young at heart, zealot. And she was born in 1899 and died in 1992. And she helped Spanish-speaking communities in New York City. When librarians were only for English speakers, she helped make them for Spanish speakers too, and people who weren't normally allowed to go or able to go to the libraries there. Okay, let's learn about our next young woman. You may have heard of her before. This is called A New School. This is about Ruby Bridges, a civil rights pioneer. Ruby had a new school, William France. Mama wanted the very best. But who were these men with badges? Ruby wasn't sure. Screaming masses flanked the school, men and women holding signs. Perhaps a parade for Mardi Gras? Ruby wasn't sure. One marshal said, "Don't look back." Was that a gun at his side? Just what did segregation mean? Ruby wasn't sure. Why did the grown-ups point at her and pull their kids from school? Why were they all so upset? Ruby wasn't sure. Why did she and Mama sit all day in the office by themselves? Had she done something wrong? Ruby wasn't sure. Ruby was banned from the lunchroom, banned from recess every day. Why did her daddy call her brave? Ruby wasn't sure. She spent first grade with Mrs. Henry in a classroom just for one. Where were the other children? Ruby wasn't sure. But Ruby never missed a day. With her teacher by her side, two heroines stood hand in hand, their bond a bridge for sure. So Ruby Bridges, who was born in 1954, and I believe she's still alive today, was 6 years old when she went to a school that was for all white children. And she was the first Black child to go to that school. And many people were upset by this. And she continued to go to that school and help with the civil rights movement to help try to get equal rights for all children and people. Okay. We got a couple more here, two more. This is Mae Jemison, liftoff, first female African-American astronaut. An African proverb says, no one shows a child the sky. No need. Head back, it's there in her eyes. Glittering stars, swirling galaxies fill her, thrill her. Even though her kindergarten teacher says, you want to be a scientist? Don't you mean a nurse? Even though she's a scaredy cat, afraid of the dark, she looks up. Afraid of heights, she looks down. She skins her shins and muddies her dress because she needs to know. A Wrinkle in Time and Star Trek's Uhura says women can't be scientists, even rocket scientists. Ignition, all systems are a go. 3, 2, 1, blast off. And Mae Jemison, who was born in 1956, was irritated that there were no women astronauts. She even skipped 7th grade and started high school at age 12. And she earned a degree in medicine. And then she was chosen for NASA's space program. And she got to go on the Endeavour in 1992, the first female African-American astronaut. And let's learn about one more amazing woman today to end our week. This is called Books, Not Bullets. Malala Yousafzai, the youngest winner of the Nobel Peace Prize. She had been shot. The bullet went in her left eye and out her left shoulder. Flown to safety in England, Malala couldn't forget the beatings, the bodies, and bombs back in her Paradise Valley of Pakistan. But her beloved school closed for girls. Malala had spoken out. Just 11, she wrote a blog for the BBC. That's a news organization. They are misusing the name of Islam, she said. Don't they know that the first word of the Holy Quran is read? Her mother feared for her life. The Taliban don't kill children, they said. They were wrong. The gunman stopped her school bus and asked for her by name. He fired 3 bullets, one hit its mark. The news ricocheted around the world, but only her fear died that day. She said, strength, power, and courage were born. I am those 66 million girls who are deprived of education. Pens, not weapons, she preached. Books, not bullets. The world heard and bestowed upon her its highest honor, the Nobel Peace Prize. Malala, one young girl who stood up, one voice that would not be silenced. She can change the world. And Malala was just born in 1997, and she won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. And she continues to fight for girls and children everywhere to have the right to learn and to get an education. And she travels to countries such as Afghanistan and Pakistan, Nigeria, and Turkey to help with that mission. Those were some incredible women and girls who were able to help do incredible things so that we can all learn and do the things that we want to do today. I think it'd be really cool if we could pretend to blast off in our rocket ship like Mae Jemison. Let's make a rocket ship craft that you can pretend with at home. I'm going to show you how to do that. So just grab a toilet paper roll or a paper towel roll, some foil, and then I have just some scrap paper here, and I cut out some different shapes, and I'm going to show you what each of those shapes are for. So start by rolling up your paper towel roll. This is going to be noisy. Ready? To make our rocket ship. Okay, so we have that ready. That's pretty simple. Now I have this big circle, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut to the center, and then you're gonna kind of twist it around to make a little cone shape. And you'll need to put a little glue to hold that together. Use my stick glue here. And let's hold that and let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now that might need a little time to dry before we can put it up on the top. We're gonna tape that to the top. Okay, and then let's make the rocket ship fins. So I took a square and I cut it into 2 triangles, and we're gonna put those along the side to make the fins of the rocket ship. So there's one, and then let's do the other one. And there's 2. Kind of press that down. Want to let that dry. And then we're gonna take, you know, reds, orange, yellow, any colors you got to kind of make the rocket ship blasting off. And so I'm gonna cut these, I cut them kind of zigzaggy. I'm gonna cut them so they'll fit just inside of my toilet paper roll, like this. Okay, so I'm gonna start by gluing them. And then I'll glue this one. And that way when we blast off, it'll look like the flame coming out of there. There we go. That's looking good so far. All right. And just to kind of be creative, we're gonna use these circles and put them on. Maybe we can imagine them as sort of like windows, or for now we can just be creative and make them decoration. I'm actually gonna write Mae's name on here, Mae Jemison, the first African-American astronaut. I'm gonna write M-A-E. Now you could write your name, you could write your initials, and I'm gonna glue these right here on top of my rocket. Let's start with the M. So we got M, A, and E. And there we go. And you can see once we get that on there, our rocket will blast off. It was so much fun building this rocket ship and blasting off just like Mae Jemison. We learned so many things that boys and girls both can do this week for Women's History Month. So to remember, be curious, just like the women and girls that we learned about this week, and don't give up on your dreams. You can be anything you want to be. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.